So today we have 10 advanced fragrances that every collector should have in their fragrance collection, or at the very minimum, you should at least sample these so you have an understanding of what they smell like. These may not be the most hyped fragrances. In fact, they really aren't hyped up at all. They tend to fly under the radar and are just loved by smaller subsets of people, mostly inside of the community. But I do think it's important that you check some of these out. There are some ultimate classics in here, some staples, some fragrances that, in my opinion, you should have if you are really serious into collecting. If you're not just doing it to smell good, get compliments here and there, but you really are doing it for the passion and for the love of fragrances, these should be on your radar. I will link these down below to Discounter so you can check them out there. Clicking those links will get you the best prices around, so that way you're saving the most amount of money when you're picking these up to bulk up your collection even more. If you're turning up a notch and trying to get into that advanced category, these are going to be for you. Let's get it. So first up, we have Dolce & Gabbana The One, Mysterious Night. So the original The One, EDT, EDP, all of those would not really be an advanced collector's fragrance. They would be more beginner level, honestly, and that's not a bad thing. I still love those fragrances, but you know, when you start looking into it here, you can find stuff like this, Mysterious Night, that's going to pose a bit of a challenge for a lot of you. It's got oud, amber, and rose with some of that original Dolce & Gabbana DNA in there. Smells great. It does have that Middle Eastern rose oud combination, which is what makes this one a bit tougher and why it's thrown into the more advanced category here. But if you are up for a challenge and you want something that's going to ultimately set you apart, because a lot of people say don't wear Dolce & Gabbana The One because everyone smells like it, well, I can guarantee you not everyone's going to be smelling like this. In fact, you can probably wear this out and you will not smell anything even close to this on anybody else. So for the people who want to stand out, here you go. Next up, we have L'Instant de Guerlain by, of course, Guerlain. This is the Eau de Parfum. This one's got cacao, patchouli, sandalwood. It's chocolatey, smooth, sweet, a little bit peppery and spicy. It's masculine, mature, and a true gentleman's classic. I mean, there is nothing more prestigious and well put together and refined and luxurious smelling in this price point. It's very hard to find stuff like this one. For around the $40 to $50 range is kind of where this one falls for a 100 ml bottle. I mean, the level of class that this one gives off, that smooth creaminess, a little bit of that chocolatey feel. It is a gentleman's wintertime fragrance with sweetness. So a lot of times when you talk about a sweet men's fragrance for wintertime, you get into all of the really sweet stuff, the tonka bean ambers, Armani Code Profumo and Absolute, Halloween Man X, all of that stuff which is very playful and perhaps juvenile to a lot of people. This one here, it's the gentleman's sweet winter fragrance. That's the best way to put it. So if you want something that's going to have you smelling mature and refined and well put together for the winter time, look no further than this one. I mean, this smells like it could easily cost $100+. No lie here. I mean, this one is truly remarkable. Been around for a long time. It's gone through bottle changes and probably reformulations and all this stuff. This is the newest style bottle and probably newest for formulation as well. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't even care. I'm sure the old ones were better, like always, but this is so good that I can't really imagine anything better. Next up, one that I talk about quite a bit, but it's worth it. That is Cartier Declaration Parfum. This one has spices, leather, cedar wood, bitter orange up top, and you do pick up on that quite a bit when you first spray it on. Dries down to a nice, dry, woody, spicy, and mature scent as well. Kind of tagging along with the Guerlain we were just talking about. Definitely a fragrance for the more mature crowd. I don't want to say older crowd because you don't have to be older to wear this, but you have to be searching for a fragrance that is mature and not playful and youthful like Armani Code Absolute, Profumo, Halloween Man X, Spice Bomb, all of the other ones that I listed off. This is not that. This is a really nice bang for your buck. This is a 150 ml bottle that I think you can get for like 110 on discounters, and the 100 ml is like 90-ish, maybe even 100. So the point is you can spring for the bigger bottle and get, you know, 50 mils extra for maybe $15 more, something like that. Definitely makes sense to get this bottle for sure if it's in stock and the pricing is still structured that way. The 100 mil just wouldn't make sense. You'd be kicking yourself that you didn't get the big bottle. So for 150 mils, a little bit over $100, that's great bang for your buck, especially for a Cartier. The quality is great, the performance is great. All around, definitely in the advanced category here. Not going to be for everybody. So this next one is a fragrance that I have loved for a long, long time. Back when I was getting into DIOR Homme Intense, basically the whole lineup. Of course, it made sense for me to pick this one up at one point. This here is going to be the new bottle style of DIOR Homme Parfum. Leather, iris, sandalwood, and rose are some of the main notes. This one blew my mind the first time I ever smelled it. Again, different bottle. I still have my original bottle, very low, and then I have a backup bottle, which is still sealed up of the old style, 75 ml. This is the new 100 ml style here. And so, man, it blew my mind. It's DIOR Homme Intense, but with a stronger leather note, with a bit of rose. It's sweeter, it's richer, and it is just a million times better. It's hard to say that a million times better necessarily, because this one is going to be more challenging of the two, and DIOR Homme Intense for me is a love. But every time I smell DIOR Homme Parfum, I'm like, okay, this is where it's at right here. To me, it is a masterpiece. Now, if all goes well, you can actually get this. I will have it linked up down below. If everything goes well, if not, I apologize, but hopefully if the timing of this video works out to what I'm seeing, you can get it now. This bottle here I actually got from FRAGRANCEBUY.CA. They had a few of them in stock. They went super quick. I was able to get one. A lot of other people were able to get them and they went out of stock. That's why I encourage you guys to get subscribed to the channel so that way you see those community posts. I'm posting several times a day on my community tab of good deals that I see, and this was one of them, and it went within a matter of minutes, pretty much. Super quick. So like I said, this one should be hopefully linked up down below for you to grab. It may be in limited quantities as well, so I would move fast. But I'm not fully breaking my rule of not featuring stuff that you can't get. I'm pretty sure if everything works out, you can. But the point is, just try to do your best to locate a bottle of this in one way or another. I know as time goes on, it'll get easier to get here in the US. Right now, it's just been super hard. But it's worth hunting down. It's worth potential headaches to get this juice in your hands if you haven't tried it before. If the people who have tried this one, you guys would know what I mean. Next up, Sauvage, Eau Sauvage, Cologne version by DIOR. Bergamot, petitgrain, and vetiver are a few of the main notes. One thing that I always like to make clear, always, is that this is DIOR Eau Sauvage. So take a look at the screen. I know some people may, watch these videos podcast style, which is awesome. If you're just playing it in the background and listening while you're doing some work or reading emails or eating breakfast or whatever, that's cool. So thank you for including me in part of your day. But I'm listing a disclaimer to look at the screen for 1 second. Eau Sauvage. I'm not talking about DIOR Sauvage blue bottle, not an advanced fragrance, okay? I think we can all agree there. But Eau Sauvage kind of is, because I would say if you were to hand this DNA to a newcomer, they would think it smells old. They would probably say that it smells like a grandpa, and that would probably kind of make some people upset. But you have to admit, they kind of have a point. It does have a classic, mature, and to some, dated smell. But the cologne version is even more bright and citric. That lemon and bergamot notes up top here working together is so tart, so vibrant, so juicy, and smells fantastic. I mean, the quality is just above most other designer citrus fragrances. Definitely going to be more for the intermediate to advanced, depending on where you're at in your collecting hobby. I just threw it in this video because I do think it is worth a mention. If you want a summer citrus fragrance that's very refined and classy, check this one out. Next up, Bottega Veneta Pour Homme Extreme. This one's got pine tree, fir, and leather. Juniper berries as well, I do believe. So this DNA, the Extreme, the EDT, and the Parfum has been strong loves of mine for a long time. I mean, I can smell this one all day. I could wear it and smell it every single day and not get tired of it. I've talked about this one a good amount, so I'll cut this short, but to me, it's an outdoorsman's fragrance, because it reminds me of being outside in the woods, just being part of nature. If you're working outside, maybe you're splitting some firewood, that sort of thing. Just has this woody pine tree, pine needles smell to it. Very photorealistic of the outdoors and all of that stuff. Leaves, everything. It's a good fall fragrance. It's a good spring fragrance. Works great in summertime as well, but typically spring and fall, I feel like is going to be the two times where you're doing the most yard work. You know, in fall you're doing leaves cleanup and getting the yard ready for wintertime, and maybe even splitting some firewood. In spring you're getting everything going again and ready for summertime. In summer you're mostly just cutting grass and maybe watering some stuff, right? But I feel like you really are getting down and dirty in those transitional seasons, and that's just kind of what this one reminds me of. Fantastic stuff that won't really be for everybody necessarily, but if you're looking to get into something a bit more unique, check it out. Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. So, man, this stuff has been around as well. Definitely nothing new, nothing of a hype monster of sorts, really. I mean, there is, you know, talk about the old style bottles, kind of like this one in the new style that doesn't have the sticker. Kind of glad they went to getting rid of the sticker because mine's peeling up in all four corners, and it's kind of pathetic, honestly. It's kind of a hassle because it's going to be gone one of these days, and then I'm going to have a bottle that just looks like this with no sticker at all. But the fragrance itself is stunning. Lavender, tobacco, and pepper are just 3 of the like 30 notes. I mean, there's a ton of notes in this fragrance, a little bit of an exaggeration, but a lot going on. Definitely another men's classic fragrance, really. I mean, it's of a different era for sure, different style of perfumery than what we're getting these days. So to some, to a lot, it will smell dated, that sort of thing. For me, I think it's nice. I think it's really pleasant, super masculine and refined, and it's just kind of a nice change of pace. You know, I'm covering new releases all the time. Every time a new one drops, I've got it ordered and I'm smelling it. So I'm always caught up in that world, testing new stuff all the time. But for me to kind of go back and smell something like this, it's kind of a reset. And I do think for a lot of people who are really into this hobby, for the passion and discovering new and different things, even though this is not new and different in comparison to what's being put out now, it definitely is. So if you don't have this one yet, I would encourage you to get it. Bulgari Man Eau de Toilette is one that I also really, really like. Now there's a ton of flankers to all of the essence, like the wood essence, neroli essence. Bulgari Man in Black, there's a bunch from there. Man in Black Orient, all of this, all of that. Kind of hard to get some of those. Bulgari Man Extreme, there's a ton with this style bottle. But the Eau de Toilette is what I'm choosing for this. Honey, sandalwood, vetiver are a couple of the notes. Again, there's a bunch in this one as well. I believe like an ozonic quality. There's some other sweeter notes, but also some top notes. You know, all the bergamots, grapefruits, all that stuff. So it's a lot. But, you know, even though it's just Bulgari Man EDT, where it all started, just you know, the original, I do think in a way it is a little bit more of an advanced fragrance, right? Because think about it. Bulgari Man in Black is a spice bomb inspired scent, a little bit more mature, but still spice bomb. You have Bulgari Man Extreme, which is this cactus juice, very citrus forward fragrance. You've got, again, some of the nerolis or the wood essences, the essence line, I guess, it's kind of hard to say, that do have a little bit of a different flavor, different twist to them. But the EDT with that sweet honey note and some of the other stuff is going on, very woods focused, it is quite different. And I do think maybe to some people, when they smell this for the first time, maybe they'd be like, what the heck is this? In a way, you know, because it is a little bit different, right? There's more richness and more depth than meets the eye. I do think it's fantastic. I mean, it's one that is more of a recent pickup for me that blew my mind because I was thinking that it was going to be super boring and basic given that it's just Bulgari Man EDT, right? Bare bones, but it's actually really, really impressive. Next up, we have the only niche fragrance in this list, or the second niche if you want to count the Guerlain as a niche, which it is, but it's only 40, 50 bucks. This is unfortunately not a $40 to $50 niche fragrance, more like 150-ish for 50 ml, which is, you know, not terrible. At the end of the day, price per mil wise, it's pretty expensive, but final cost, 150, 160 bucks out the door, is not awful. At the end of the day, if you ignore price per milliliter, 100 mils of this one would be obviously well close to $400, shipping, tax, everything. So, you know, depends on how you look at it. This one is XERJOFF CRUZ del Sur 1. This one's got leather, rum, and dried fruits. So really quite unique. But it smells amazing. I love that. I believe there's a sandalwood in here as well. It's creamy, smooth, leathery, sweet. Man, it's just, this is niche perfumery. XERJOFF is a brand that I've been very late to. In fact, out of all of the niche brands, this is the one that I am by far slacking on the most, and the reason why is because there are so many XERJOFFs, and I only have like probably 5 or 6, 7, something like that. Not a whole lot, at least in comparison to what they have. They've got countless fragrances, right? So I'm very far behind. You know, Mancera, Creed, even Roja, very blessed to have a lot of Roja fragrances. You know, I'm kind of caught up on those. Mancera, I do not have a lot either, but I still have a lot. So, you know, in terms of the big niche brands, XERJOFF is the one that I am slacking on. And I'm still trying to kind of slowly work my way into it. Picked up Richwood recently, which is one that could be thrown in here, but this one's a little bit more affordable, a little bit easier to get, so we're going here. Masculine, smooth, sweet, leathery. Again, this is what it's all about. Discovering these mind-bending, different niche fragrances. It's really quite unique stuff that's great for an evening out, great for the cooler months. If you like leather, you would like that fragrance. Definitely on the advanced side. You know, it's not a XERJOFF Neo or something that's all citrus. I mean, there's a bit more going on in that one. And last up for this video, we have FERRAGAMO Oud by FERRAGAMO in the weird twisty bottle, right? So it's actually a really nice oud fragrance. It's got rum, tobacco, oud, and leather, and it's well done. You know, it's not going to be super strong. We do have another oud fragrance in here, Dolce & Gabbana, the one Mysterious Night. Between the two, the FERRAGAMO would be easier to pull off. I still do think it's kind of more intermediate to advanced, but not quite as much as Dolce & Gabbana, the one Mysterious Night. So if you're wanting to get into oud, but you want the safer of the two, go with the FERRAGAMO. I guess actually also DIOR and PARFUM, there's some oud, but not all that much either. This is going to be the easiest one to wear, basically. It's a challenge if you're up to a little bit of a challenge, but you also still want a designer level fragrance at the end of the day. You know, I think this would actually appeal to maybe some beginners if they do like to stand out. But I think especially today with the way things are trending, with all the new releases, this would be off-putting to the majority of newcomers. Maybe 10 years ago, it would be a little bit of a different story. This one will have you standing out. You will smell different, and to some, it will be a little bit of a challenge. But it is nice because it's around $50 online, 50, maybe pushing 60. Quality is good, performance is good. It's a nice entry-level oud fragrance that also still is kind of on the intermediate advanced side, if that makes sense. That's going to do it for me, guys. That is 10 basically must-have fragrances for advanced collectors. Advanced to intermediate, whatever you want to call it, professional collectors, I don't know. All sounds kind of funny, but you know, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, if you want to take your collection beyond blue fragrances and aquatics, these are the ones that you should look into. They will all be linked up down below to discounters. I encourage you to use those links, that way you are saving the most amount of money. And I want to hear from you guys down below. What are some basically must-haves for advanced collectors in your opinion, if I missed anything? I could have put more niche, but I kind of wanted to stick to the designer affordability side. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.